Hey everyone. Over the course of my career in commercial real estate, I've been through numerous cycles. The dot-com crisis, the global financial crisis, the pandemic shutdown, the post-pandemic inflation surge, and more. And something I've noticed during these periods of elevated uncertainty and economic volatility is that the news cycle becomes hyper-accelerated. And a lot of things change really fast. And the data we rely on to make day-to-day decisions can become outdated even before it's published. That's where we are today. We're in a period of change where things are happening so fast the data can't keep up. For example, I just got the March issue of a survey of economic forecasts. And even though the survey was just done a few weeks ago, two major participants in the forecast have already revised their outlook for 2025. Another example is the CPI inflation reading that came out last week on March 12th that said inflation went down in February. Ironically, that report came out the same day as 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel went into effect. The price of steel has already gone up by 30% since the beginning of the year, and that isn't showing up in the inflation numbers yet. Anyway, here's my point. Things are moving so fast right now that the data we're working with isn't as useful as normal. And in times like this, I've found over the years that commercial real estate investors are often best served by shifting their focus from the current news and data releases to a longer-term perspective. And one of the best tools for long-term strategic planning is demographics. This week, I want to focus in on how baby boomers are moving the needle on medical office. I don't talk about this property type in my videos very often because it's a relatively small investment segment, but I think it's something investors should be mindful of because the forces driving medical office are also influencing other property types. The sheer mass of baby boomers will impact all types of commercial real estate. Think about this for a minute. Each day, 11,000 people turn 65. Over the next 5 years, the number of people between the ages of 70 and 74 will increase by 1.8 million people. There will also be 1.8 million more people who are between 75 and 80, and there will be 3.3 million more people who are over 80 years old. That's an increase of about 21.8% over the next 5 years. And as people age, their use of medical services increases. People between 18 and 44 go to the doctor about 1.9 times per year on average. Between 45 and 64, the number of visits averages 3.7 times per year, but for people 65 and older, the number of office-based physician visits increases to 7.1 times per year. As a result, the wave of baby boomers will drive a massive surge of medical services demand. That will likely drive increased medical-related space demand. At the same time, medical office space construction appears to be tapering. In 2023, about 14 million square feet of space was added, and in 2024, only 8 million square feet was added. And the pace of construction starts has fallen significantly over the last 2 years, a trend that will likely continue this year as the price of construction materials and the cost of construction labor rise. But just looking at the math, the structural dynamics of the demographics and the aging population's use of medical services implies that the need for medical office space will increase substantially over the next 5 years. That includes doctors' offices, outpatient care facilities, medical testing facilities, and so on. Now, I'm not going to drill into the details here, but think about how the aging of baby boomers will affect housing demand, retail demand, and even self-storage demand. And that's not even mentioning seniors housing, which has already seen significant occupancy gains. Regardless of the day-to-day news and data that's coming out, the long-term impact of demographics will ultimately shape commercial real estate space demand for most property types over the next 5 years. And that's something investors should keep in the back of their minds as they keep their eyes on the horizon.